Today we back with another edition of Facts, Not Fiction. And the artist we focus on today is E.D.I. from the notorious rap group, the Outlawz, with Tupac. Known for being on a lot of big records, known for putting his contribution into hip-hop. We're going to focus on E.D. today. E.D.I. was born in Brooklyn, New York. A lot of people don't know that. He was born in Brooklyn. Tupac was born in Harlem. They've been friends since about the 4th grade. E.D. had a relationship with Castro and he had a relationship with Gaddafi. Both of them grew up with him. E.D. started rapping ever since a young kid. I think he started rapping probably at the age of 10, sharpening his skills in school, battling. He started off as a battle rapper, and his original rap name was Big Mal because E.D.'s real name is Malcolm. Eventually, E.D., Tupac, and Castro, all of them moved out west. Tupac moved to Oakland, and E.D. had moved out to Minnesota. Him and his cousin Castro, they still been in school. So Castro was the one, that's Tupac's first cousin. He's the one that really initiated E.D. to be in the group or to work with Tupac on a more professional level. They already had relationships because of their family and both growing up in New York as kids. But when Pac dropped the Tupacalypse album and was focused on his music, he was out there in Oakland. E.D. was out there in Minnesota. He sent them a demo of a couple recorded tracks, and Tupac was liking what he heard. He was really liking E.D.'s style, really liking E.D. talent, and he told E.D. just finish high school. As soon as you finish high school, I'm gonna bring you out here and we're gonna start doing music. So eventually, E.D. went to Oakland, and the first time he started really recording with Pac, when Pac was working on the Strictly For My Niggas album. A lot of the tracks didn't come out on that album. A lot of tracks got scrapped, but that's the first time he started recording with him. But the first official song that E.D. ever appeared on was on Tupac's Me Against the World album, and he was on the title track, the single Me Against the World. At that time, they were going under the group name as Dramacidal. That's when Tupac had 2 groups he was managing. One was Dramacidal and the other one was Thug Life. And Dramacidal eventually turned into the Outlawz because of Gaddafi. Gaddafi is the real reason why the Outlawz became the group they were. He was the big significant part of putting all the pieces together. He was the New Jersey connection. And eventually everybody from the Outlawz group ended up in New Jersey. So Gaddafi, being one of Tupac's close confidant and family member, he took his advice and took his leadership on putting the Outlawz together. And that's when the Outlawz brought in Fatal, then they brought in Castro and Gaddafi, E.D.I. Napoleon, and Young Noble was the very last member of the Outlawz. He was the one that got there in '96. So after the Outlawz formed their group and started working on projects, the first album that they focused on was the Machiavelli album, which was supposed to be a mixtape originally, and it was Tupac's way of showing off his artists, promoting his artists. It was sort of like what Jay-Z did with the Dynasty, when he had Memphis Bleek, Beanie, Emil, and everybody on his album. That's the same thing Tupac was doing with the Machiavelli album for the Outlawz. And after the Machiavelli album, they released the Outlawz album together as a group called Still I Rise, which went platinum when they first released it. It went platinum with just one single. The one single was Baby Don't Cry. It was a real good record, but at the time, the Outlawz felt like they wasn't getting the proper promotion from Death Row, and they wasn't getting the proper funds from Death Row, so they wanted to end their contract. So when they wanted to leave, all the promotion on the album stopped. That's why the album only had one single. But for an album only to have one single and go platinum, it was a pretty good album. And one of Tupac's best songs featuring the Outlawz, which, my bad, it should be the Outlawz featuring Tupac, is Teardrops and Closed Caskets. That song is special, man. If you never heard it, you gotta look that up. That was one of the best songs that ever came out. And E.D. was a very significant part on that song. And also, E.D. was a big contributor on the Machiavelli album, On one of those songs on the Machiavelli album, Just Like Daddy, E.D.I had like the best verse, you know what I mean? I ain't gonna lie. E.D.I had a verse on there just as good as Pac, cause a lot of the Outlawz members, their dream wasn't to rap, you know what I mean? They didn't really want to be a rapper like E.D.I. E.D.I always wanted to be a real artist, always studying the craft, always wanting to spit. He felt like he was gonna make it without Pac or without being an outlaw group, because he always was that artist, you know what I mean? A lot of people don't know that, but if you go back and listen to the music, you could tell by the way that he raps, the way he gets on the beat, the way he comes with different styles, different flows, different angles, good perspective. E.D.I is a dope artist. E.D.I was a dope artist since 96. E.D.I was a dope artist since 94, to be honest. He had real consistent bars and a consistent flow. So after the Still I Rise album, after the Outlawz left Death Row, E.D.I and the Outlawz took a deal with Jay Prince in Houston, signing the Rap A Lot Records. A lot of people don't know that. They signed the Rap A Lot Records and they got treated as an artist should have been treated on their level. Jay Prince really took his time out grooming them, helping them understand how to move in the industry as independent artists and putting them on the business. They dropped one official project around that time when they was working with Rap A Lot called Never Surrender. It was like a mixtape album, but it came out on all platforms and everything like that. It did what it was supposed to do. Then after the Rap A Lot Records deal, the Outlawz went independent. And when they went independent, most of them started focusing on their solo careers. Like, you know what I mean, Fatal was doing his thing solo. E.D.I was doing his thing solo, and Young Noble was doing his thing solo. They was doing a lot of projects with a lot of other artists. Then Castro left the group. He didn't want to do music no more. Then Napoleon left the group. He didn't want to do music no more. And Fatal passed away. Rest in peace, Fatal. And of course, you know, Yacht passed away back in 96. So Young Noble and E.D.I was left to hold down the fort. And that was a lot of pressure, man. A lot of pressure from the music industry to be the Outlawz, but them boys kept on going. Young Noble and E.D.I, I mean. They released a bunch of projects, a bunch of features, a bunch of singles, a bunch of music, a bunch of videos, you know what I mean, on the independent grind. And man, let me tell you, E.D.I and Noble, them boys both been spitters, yo, real spitters. You could tell that they both care about what they say and mean what they say.
I still sell 1 million copies. In this rap game, son, I see 1 million copies. All bandanaed out, all tatted down. Only thing I pray for is y'all get it down. You saying thug life yours, better act the clown. Cause when you see us, dog, ain't no backing down. No street team, no ads in the source. Well, that's the $1 million question, who the Outlawz? No interviews, posing like centerfolds. We like pits on the strip, holla sick 'em, no. You want a hot verse, take me off. And if I dish you on your own song, take me off. But before that, your label best to break me off. Pac let the laws in, now they hating it, y'all. Breaking my balls, touch y'all, kill all that. 2009, yeah, we ain't trying to hear all that. As far as the street go, y'all know. But yo, as far as my heat goes, that's whoa. I penetrate your whole existence with precision. Splitting your wig, making that thing a split decision. Thug living, although my mama taught me much better. I was addicted to the streets, I couldn't leave till I touched cheddar. And better than my heart is the soul of a rebel. We gon' do it our way, we ain't gon' never ever settle. I got my niggas and my metal. We all on a mission, the goal is get the gold, stay cold, keep tripping, come on. Yeah.
After years of staying on their independent grind, musically, Young Noble and E.D.I wanted to start to do something different, and they wanted to put their foot in films. So they made the Tupac movie. The Tupac movie that was released a few years ago. A lot of people criticized it, but I had mad respect for the movie because E.D.I Amin was in it, Young Noble was in it, and they really was there. And E.D.I is the only person that's still alive that was actually there the night Tupac got killed. He's actually one of the people that actually knew Tupac the most. So anybody out there that's doing podcasts and everything like that, if you want the real official Tupac stories, you gotta get E.D.I. Also in that Tupac movie, E.D.I and Young Noble put my cousin in the movie. My cousin, I'm not gonna say his name, but he was in the Tupac movie, and he is the one that built a relationship with the Outlawz ever since like the 90s when they was living in Georgia, when they was staying in Atlanta. My cousin that stays in Atlanta, that ran his own tattoo business, had a lot of rappers come through and they just built a relationship. And you know what I mean? And that was the way I was able to get the contact to reach out to the boys, to reach out to the Young Noble, to reach out to E.D.I. And that's how we built a friendship and a business relationship and started working together and started doing music together. You know what I mean? Me and E.D.I worked on a lot of tracks together. I made a new album called Bertavelli, The 30-Day Theory. And I was on my Machiavelli shit heavy, so I needed somebody that could bring that real Machiavelli vibe to the album. And that was E.D.I. Me and E.D.I had worked on songs before on the album I did earlier this year called Limitless. Me and him did a song called Pass Me the Guard, a smoker song, you know what I mean, that was real good, that had that real club vibe, that bounce. So when I was working on the Bertavelli album, I wanted to channel Tupac's energy that he had when he made the Machiavelli album. And E.D.I. was there, so it's only right to have him on my album to help me. And on the first joint we did for the album, which was titled Street Fame, to recognize his book that he created called Street Fame, and to show homage to the song that he did with Tupac off Tupac's double album called Street Fame. So we dropped that as a single on the album, and we dropped a video, and you know what I mean, E.D.I was a real dude, man. He showed up, he did everything for the video for me as I asked. We met in Atlanta and did everything that we did, made it happen. And E.D.I is a real dude, man. I respect E.D.I as a man. And we dropped a couple more tracks on the album. He appeared on the album on the song I got called Hustle and Flow, where he did the hook, and that shit is a straight banger. And we did a conscious record called Take It Back, you know what I mean? That's been getting a real good response on the internet with a video that we put out with that as well. And the visual for that video was crazy. It's next level. It's the AI type technology, but we did it in a way that the fans could appreciate, and we did it in a way to pay homage to all the legends in the game. And those tracks are special, man. They're real special. If you haven't seen it yet, you gotta look that up ASAP. It's on Vivo, and all the tracks that we did on the album was produced by Phineas Phenomenal out of Georgetown. You know what I mean? A real dope up-and-coming producer that really cooked up on this album. And like I said, you know, E.D.I came through and brought the Pac vibe, and that album is already being considered a classic. So in the future, be on the lookout for more music featuring E.D.I. Also, go check out his YouTube channel, E.D.I. TV. He has a segment called Talk My Truth, where he give you all those real Tupac stories, not the fabricated, watered down shit a lot of these other platforms be doing. And with that said, this is another edition of Facts, Not Fiction. E.D.I. Peace and love.